The music was too loud for the size of the living room. Someone had connected a Bluetooth speaker and set it on top the old upright piano that hadn't been tuned since 2008. Mariah Carey echoing off wood-paneled walls. Paper plates stacked beside the sink. My father's house still smelled faintly of motor oil. No matter how much my mother used cinnamon candles. I was standing near the coat rack, holding a sweating glass of grocery store Merlot, when my father raised his voice. "If you're going to keep living here," he said, not looking at me at first, "you're going to start paying real rent. Or you can get out. Toward you people neighbors. My aunt and uncle from Dayton. 2 guys from his bowling league. Mrs. Harding from church." They all turned like someone had dropped a fork at a wedding. He looked at me then. "Measured, you're 34. The music was still playing. My sister, Emily, let out a soft laugh. Not loud enough to be confrontational. Just enough to align herself. "Good luck with that," she said, lifting her glass toward me like it was a toast. It wasn't the words. We'd talked about rent before. I'd moved back 6 months earlier after my divorce. The apartment lease ended. I needed time to rebuild savings. My father had agreed, reluctantly, but agreed. It was the audience. He listed numbers like he was reading from a hardware receipt. $700 a month. Utilities separate. Starting January. Someone coughed. Someone said, "Well." I remember noticing the Christmas lights blinking in the window behind him. Red to green, red to green. I didn't argue. That surprised him. It surprised me too. "Okay," I said. That was it. The party resumed in fragments. Conversations stitched themselves back together. I stepped outside into the cold and stood on the porch for a while, listening to the muffled laughter inside the house I grew up in. I wasn't furious. I wasn't even hurt in the way I would have been 10 years earlier. I was finished. The next morning, no one mentioned it. My father read the sports section at the kitchen table. Emily scrolled on her phone. My mother avoided eye contact, asking if I wanted scrambled eggs. 700. My father repeated without looking up. First of the month. "Okay," I said again, but that afternoon I opened my laptop and started searching. Not rentals, mortgages. I had some savings. Not much, but enough for a modest down payment if I was careful. My credit was careful. I never missed a payment on anything. I just never believed I was ready. There's a difference between not being ready and not being respected. The bank appointment was quiet and procedural. Fluorescent lighting. A woman named Carla explained interest rates with professional patience. She didn't know anything about Christmas parties or public ultimatums. She just saw my income, my savings, my debt-to-income ratio. "You qualify," she said. Comfortably, that word stayed with me. Comfortably. The house wasn't impressive. A small 2-bedroom ranch 15 minutes away, built in the early 90s, beige siding, a narrow driveway. The previous owner had left nail holes in the hallway where family photos used to hang. When I signed the closing documents, it felt strangely anticlimactic. No swelling music, no revelation. Just signatures, a cashier's check, a handshake. Authority doesn't always shout. Sometimes it stamps. When the realtor handed me the keys, the metal felt heavier than it should have. I packed over 3 evenings. No confrontation. Emily noticed the boxes first. "What are you doing?" she asked, leaning against my bedroom doorframe. "Moving." She smirked the way she had at Christmas. "Where I bought a house." The smirk faltered. Just slightly. "Dad found out when he saw the mattress gone." "You're being dramatic," he said in the hallway. "All I asked was for rent. In front of 20 people. He inhaled sharply. It was a conversation. It was a performance. He didn't deny that. For a moment, I thought he might soften. Apologize, even halfway. Instead, "You'll be back." There it was. The assumption. I shook my head. No. That was the last real conversation we had. The first night in the new house was louder than silence should be, every creak amplified. Refrigerator humming, wind against siding. I ate takeout on the living room floor because I didn't own a table yet. My phone buzzed 3 times. "Mom. Call me." "Emily, this is extreme." "Dad, nothing." I turned the phone face down. I wasn't cutting him off with a speech. I wasn't sending a manifesto about boundaries and respect. I just stopped responding. January 1st came and went. No rent paid. No request made. My mother drove by once. I saw her car slow at the curb. She didn't get out. Weeks passed. I changed my mailing address. I bought a used couch. I painted the hallway where someone else's family used to hang their pictures. I hung nothing yet. By March, the tone of the text shifted. Dad, we should talk. Emily, mom's upset. This is hurting her. I read them without urgency. Power doesn't always arrive in confrontation. Sometimes it arrives when you realize you don't need the room anymore. I didn't block them. I didn't make announcements about cutting all living contact. I simply stopped volunteering access to me. No more holidays. No more Sunday dinners. No more explanations. When coworkers asked how my Christmas had been, I said eventful. The next December, I hosted 2 friends in my small dining room. We used mismatched plates from a thrift store. We laughed too loud. The house smelled like rosemary and roasted chicken. No one demanded anything from me. Later that night, I stood alone in the kitchen and listened to the quiet. I didn't feel victorious. I felt steady. Sometimes breaking isn't loud, sometimes it's administrative. Paperwork. Keys. Silence. He wanted rent or departure. I chose departure, and I paid for my own peace instead.